Hey guys, this is Comic and today I'm doing a review for Justice League vs. Teen Titans, which is the new DC animated film, which I feel like came out really quick. I didn't expect the movie to be out so soon because we just got Batman Bad Blood, but that's kind of what's cool about the DC animated movies is that we do get a good amount of them during the year. So with my movie reviews, I will let you know that the beginning will be a non-spoiler kind of overview of the film, and then I'll get into spoilers of the film. That way, if you guys haven't seen the movie, you can see if it was good or not. And for you guys who have seen the movie and want spoilers, you can get that also. So let's start talking about the film. Overview of the film, it's the Teen Titans kind of forming, or especially Damian joining the Teen Titans. Our roster is Raven, Damian, Robin, Starfire, Jaime, Blue Beetle, and we also have Beast Boy. So those are our 5 members. And our big villain, it's not really a spoiler, but our big villain's related to Raven. And it's the Teen Titans finally kind of becoming friends and a family and trying to figure out a way to defeat this villain. And of course, the title of the movie is not so misleading. We do get to see Justice League vs. Teen Titans, but throughout the movie we learn exactly why they're versing each other. So what do I think of the movie overall without spoiling it? I would say this is actually a really good film for Raven. You know, I'm not a huge Raven fan, but I like seeing characters that don't get as much spotlight get some spotlight, and here we really do get to see the spotlight on Raven. Now I will say a negative of this film is the voice acting for a lot of the characters, one of them being Raven. It took me a while to get used to the voice acting for her character. I think she landed some good lines, especially the jokes, but I don't know if that's the voice I would have picked for Raven. Maybe because we're so used to watching the television show and Tara Strong being amazing and doing a great voice for Raven, but it just kind of felt weird and out of place. Same going for Starfire. Again, it goes back to the amazing voice acting on Teen Titans, and then you have kind of this generic voice for Starfire. I mean, I think she landed the lines of innocence pretty well and tried to copy the voice actor of Teen Titans, which you see a lot actually throughout the show because a lot of these characters are from Teen Titans, the cartoon. But I think Starfire and Beast Boy kind of did that a lot. For Beast Boy, it actually worked. I think he sounded, you know, pretty well from the Teen Titans show. But yeah, Starfire, there's definitely something that felt off with her voice. And of course, you guys know I don't really love Damian's voice in these DC anime movies. I guess, you know, you have to get used to it, and I guess I've gotten used to it. Doesn't mean I really like the voice acting. And same for the Justice League. I think one of the worst of the voice acting was Flash. You didn't really hear him talk very often, but just, he didn't really land his lines very well. Even when you did, like, punching lines, like, it didn't work for me. But I guess the best voice acting, Batman, you know, they've done that pretty well. Superman was pretty good. Wonder Woman was eh. Jaime and Beast Boy I thought were pretty good, and Cyborg, so those were the best. But I think the biggest weakness of this movie is the voice acting in certain parts. But going into the story again, I really enjoyed that Raven had a good storyline. You really dig into her past and her origins, which I think is important, because not a lot of people know her origins unless, again, you watched the cartoon or you read the comics. So for people that are just following these movies, I think they explain her origins very well. Another thing I really enjoyed was Damian's character. Now, I haven't loved Damian in the previous DC animated films. He's been kind of a snot, you know, he's a hard character to like, but in the comics they have done a good job to kind of build his character, to kind of understand why he does the things he does, and here I think they did a good job with that. Again, he's not one of my favorite characters, but you finally understand why he does the things he does, and he actually becomes likable in this film, where in the previous films he kind of was just that snot doing these sly comments. Here, because of his relationship with, I will say, the Teen Titans, they do a good job of kind of just giving him more layers and seeing him doing something different in this film. So that was definitely the strongest part. And I will say I enjoyed the team by the end of the movie. I'm not saying they had the best chemistry by the end. Again, that might have been because of the voice acting. But I thought it was a good, like, chapter 1 to this Teen Titans team they're trying to introduce in the DC animated universe. Another praise I'll give is that the villain was really well done in this movie. A lot of the times with the DC animated movies, or at least the recent ones, I think the final act is always the part where I'm like, this didn't build up right. And I think that was very prominent in Batman Bad Blood. It didn't build up right, the villains. But here, the villain was built up really well, and probably one of the best villains I've seen, or at least final battle villains I've seen in recent years for the DC animated movies. Not totally, but in recent years with this New 52 style film. So overall, the story actually really impressed me. It's probably one of my favorites for the New 52 run, but there are some execution problems. Animation is pretty simple. The actual designs of the characters were well done for most of the characters, but yeah, the animation could have been a little bit better. But I liked the film overall, and for me, I gave it 3.8 stars. I enjoyed it. I didn't tend to pause the film as much. Sometimes with these New 52 films, I'm like, I'm getting a little bored. But here, I wasn't really bored with the film. I thought the pacing was really well done, and the characters were interesting. Especially when the characters are actually having fun and just being teenagers. So now let's go into the spoiler portion of this review. So if you haven't seen the movie, spoilers. So the villain of this movie is Trigon, and again, what I enjoyed about this film is Raven's relationship with her father, and seeing that plot and seeing her origins, but then seeing that compared to Damian's relationship with Ra's al Ghul. I think they did the parallel really well, and by the end of the movie we get to see even Raven have her crystal, and that being Trigon. I really enjoyed the design for Raven's Trigon. Design was really cool. Something I kind of missed with design stuff and art, there was a really weird scene that I kind of just laughed out loud about in this movie, was when Starfire changes into her costume for the first time, and then you see everyone have this like Sailor Moon moment where they're just like, oh look, gloves, gloves, the villain will wait for me. So you have that with Beast Boy, Blue Beetle, and Starfire. It was so weird, and I was like, what am I watching? And it felt really out of place that they had that Sailor Moon type anime thing in there. But yeah, going back to it, like I said, Raven was well done in the film, story-wise. Starfire was well done in the film, story-wise, too. I really liked her as a mentor. Voice acting could have been better. That pulled me out. And I really liked Damian in this film because of his relationship with his grandfather and finally opening up to people, and I feel like it wasn't really cheesy the way they said, hey, we're family. And I think it was because it was Damian's voice and him not being cheesy about it and trying to put on the side and say, you know, this is the reason why we should hang out and be Teen Titans. Another thing I really enjoyed was actually the way they used Cyborg in this film. Because as you guys know, Cyborg's in the Justice League right now. Some people are happy about it, some people aren't. I'm personally a person that I feel likes him better in Teen Titans, but they kind of make a joke about it here, and he's hanging out with the Teen Titans anyways, and I thought they did a really good job with that. So overall, I thought the writing was pretty fun. I really liked the carnival scene probably the most out of the whole movie. It just showed these heroes being kids, and Starfire just being that like motherly mentor. So I thought that was the best part, and Raven's origins. Now, one negative I do want to add that I didn't really add in my non-spoiler portion is that I don't know if this was totally needed to be a Justice League movie, and because they do it for marketing and wanting people to buy the film, which I understand, or else I guess it wouldn't get as many people buying it, but at the same time I think this movie could have held its own if it was just the Teen Titans. I don't think we needed Superman or Wonder Woman. Honestly, that whole romance thing kind of took out of the film. I'm like, do we really need to see Wonder Woman and Superman together here? I don't know. They made one fun joke about glasses, but other than that, I didn't really need to see that romance, and I didn't really need to see the Justice League. Of course, you needed Batman Batman to bring Damian, and that was more Dick Grayson, but you needed Batman's character for Damian, but you definitely didn't need the whole Justice League as a whole. But like I said, I thought this was a pretty fun movie, and honestly one of the better New 52 films, and if you enjoy the Teen Titans, I think you're going to get some enjoyment of it, if you could look past the voice acting. So I'll give this movie 3.8 stars. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.